Hi, I'm Mark Spencer, President of Aquametrics, and I'd like to welcome you to this instrumentation training video. In this video, I'd like to share with you how to calibrate a pH probe. I'll be using a P60C5, our very latest differential probe, and the Shark, our multi-parameter controller. To calibrate a pH probe, we need two of three possible pH calibration solutions: pH 4, pH 7, and pH 10. Now, if your process is on the caustic side, that is to say a pH greater than 7, you want to use pH 7 and pH 10. If, on the other hand, it's on the acid side, that is less than pH 7, you want to use pH 4 and pH 7. And if your process is all over, you'll need pH 4 and pH 10. One other solution you'll need is a clean water rinse. Ordinary tap water is just fine for this. For this demonstration, I'll use pH 4 and pH 7 buffers. We can calibrate our probe using the front panel of the Shark, but the beauty of this controller is this nifty little inside menu that is accessible only to technicians like you. Okay, let's get started. To get to the calibration menu, I'm going to go to my inside menu, and just as the display says, I'm going to press down. I like to call this menu the process of elimination menu system. It's whatever button can only work is the button you use, and right now the up and down buttons won't work, so the left right button is the right answer. So I'm going to hit the left right button and choose calibration. Now I'm given a choice between manual cal and auto cal, and I really only ever need to use manual cal if I have a really sick probe. For all other reasons, I always choose auto cal. Again, I press the left right button to choose it. And now it says, if buffer 1 is ready, press down. The first thing I'm going to do before I put my probe in buffer 1 is to make sure I rinse it very thoroughly. And if I'm using a pH 7 buffer as one of my two calibration solutions, I'll make sure that I put my probe in pH 7 first. So I'll stick it in the pH 7 calibration solution. I'll swirl it around to make sure I get really good contact and flow over the process electrode. I wait at least 30 seconds. 2 minutes is even better. And when I'm ready, I press down. Now it's thinking. It's measuring the output of the probe. And when it's done thinking, it realizes that the probe is in pH 7 buffer solution, which is correct. So now I'm going to press down again, and it says if buffer 2 is ready, press down. Well, buffer 2 is not ready. First thing I have to do is take the probe out of buffer 1, which is pH 7, rinse it out really thoroughly, and then put the probe in my second buffer, which is pH 4. As before, I'm going to swirl the probe around in the calibration solution very thoroughly so that I get a really good flow across the process electrode. I'm going to wait at least 30 seconds, and then when I'm ready, I'm going to press down. It's thinking, and it's measuring the output of the probe, and hopefully it's going to discover it's in pH 4 calibration solution. Sure enough, it does. Now I'm going to hit down, but before I do, let me warn you, because you're going to have to look very carefully. In the next menu, or the next display, will show you the efficiency of the probe that it has calculated for the two buffer solutions. That's a very critical number. Watch very carefully. I'll hit the menu, the down menu, and you'll see 99% efficiency. Well, that's just great. We'll talk about that number in the next video. But for now, the next display shows us a yes, no, whether, and it asks us the questions, do we want to store that calibration information? And using our left right button, we'll move to the yes, the Y, and hit down. And now we're all set. To go back to our run menu, we can navigate through our menus, or we can use my handy dandy shortcut, which is simply to press the up, down buttons at the same time. And there we are. It's that simple. Now, about that efficiency rating, we'll delve into the meaning of this number in the next video, But for now, suffice it to say that we don't let a probe leave the factory with an efficiency rating less than 90%. When your application of probe will deliver accuracy to within 0.1 pH units as long as its efficiency is greater than 50%. However, there is no reason why you should accept performance of less than 80%. When you do get an efficiency of 80% or less, it's time to change out the reference pH 7 buffer solution. That's easy to do, and we'll cover that in the next video. In fact, you should expect your probe to work at the 90% plus efficiency for years to come just by performing simple maintenance. After all, that is why you invested in an Aquametrics differential probe. It's the probe that works long after all others fail. Thanks very much.